everyone's looking for the young guy. They're looking for McVay. I think take a shot out. Todd Bowles, get him a second shot at head coach and see if he can do it.
I don't think they will. If they don't have Anthony Davis, I'm saying it right now. If Anthony Davis is out for the playoffs, they don't make it out of the first round.
It's crazy. And our kids will know how great Tom Brady is because he's going to be playing.
Yes, it is 15.0%.
That's what the Yankees brought Garrett Cole to do.
He was a 6th-round pick. This is a fairy tale story that's being written in front of our eyes.
People like to call them their JV team, and they just stole one of their better players.
They didn't struggle against the Padres. The Padres didn't really put up a fight in most of the games.
Jerry Jones, hope you're listening.
Hi, I'm Landon Bowe, and you're listening to Outsiders Opinions with Kevin and Austin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our NBA Opinions of the Week. I am Kevin. I'm joined by the man that has won this year's edition of the NBA Draft Predictions. Austin, I'll let you, congrats on the win, and I'll let you explain the points of the win as well.
Yes, this is something we've done since the very beginning, draft predictions. And I think for the majority of it, we've been using the same criteria. You get 1 point for the player to the correct team, no matter what pick it is, as long as it's in the first round. And then you get another point for the right team. The right pick that a player goes. So if a player goes 2, and you had them going 2, but they go to a different team, you get 1 point. But if you had them going at 2 to the Hawks, and they go to the Hawks at 5, for example, you would still get those 2 points, or you still get a point. But if they go to the Hawks at 2, and that's what you're projecting, then yeah, that's what you get. So it's a 2-point system. You can't get more than 2 points at one pick. So the max you could get in one draft is 60. We've never gotten even remotely close to that. But how many points did you get, Kevin?
I only got 4. I got the first 2 picks right.
Okay, and I think those were I thought the first 3 were pretty obvious, at least the players that would go. I only got half credit on the third one, but we can get into it. I ended up with 10 points, so I think the NBA draft is one that I think I've won almost every time. I think that I know we've gone like you've won NFL and I've won NFL. You've won MLB, I've won MLB. You've won NHL, I've won NHL. I think the NBA is probably my most dominant category when it comes to the draft.
Yeah, that seems right. The NBA is just tough. I remember a few years ago you got the Magic selecting Paolo Banchero number 1. I went into the smoke with Jabari Smith Jr.
Yeah, I just realized that last year my mock draft was atrocious. I'm looking at it. It is really, really bad. So maybe not last year. You probably won last year because last year I only got 4 points. So you probably won last year. But I do think that the NBA draft's usually my best prediction. It's usually one of my better ones. Because I do remember in 23, like you were kind of discussing, I did extremely, extremely well.
Yeah, this one, I think 3 is where I was right in the Sixers kept the pick, but I think we can kind of go through 1 and 2 and then start talking about 3. 1, both had Cooper Flag, easiest decision for the Mavs. 2 is Spurs, Dylan Harper, which I am really interested in the Spurs in that point guard position because you have De'Aaron Fox. You also have Stephon Castle, who's Rookie of the Year. Now you have Dylan Harper. And I'm assuming actually, this is for both picks. Both these teams want to be competitive. So how does that affect the rookies?
I think it helps them a lot. I think competitive teams are beneficial to their rookies as long as those rookies play. And even if they don't, they still have some benefit. But definitely if they play, it's extremely beneficial to those teams because they're going to be able to play in big games, big moments. And also their play time is going to be a lot more competitive. So they're going to have to work for their minutes, which I do think actually helps. Even if they don't get as much play time, if they have to fight for that play time, they usually try a little bit harder. So yeah, I think this is both easy picks, good picks, and then yeah, we can move on from here.
Yeah, so this is where you have VJ Edgecombe getting selected in a trade. I had the Sixers going Con Nepal, a wing, and now you have VJ Edgecombe going to the Sixers, which best player available, and I'm really interested to see what that front court looks like in a few years because they've gotten pretty lucky. Tyrese Maxey was a late addition, kind of a playoff riser, and then he evolved into that. But Jared McCain seemed to really play well, and then I believe he got injured. So, what does this guard rotation look like in a few years? Because it is an important year for Embiid and the Sixers. However, they're trying. I believe with this pick, they're trying to balance now and the future when they still have Embiid on the team.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I feel like this is a good pick. I had the Sixers trading down, but they stayed at number 3 and took VJ Edgecombe, who is the best available. And I think taking best available is definitely important. And then Con Knipple was taken at 4, so you weren't that far off. I had him going a little bit later, but he does come off the board here.
Yeah, and I think the Hornets, as long as they just hit on their players, it should work out for them, as they were number 4. And then the thing is, that's where I missed. I didn't get that many points, but I was just one off because on to 5, I had Trey Johnson getting selected, but that's actually where Ace Bailey went. And then there, of course, has been some rumors of how Ace Bailey didn't want to get drafted by the Jazz, and now he's finally going to camp. But that is interesting how teams are or how players are trying to manipulate even from the draft because the NBA is the most player driven league out of all the leagues.
Yeah. It is the most player driven, but I still think with rookies you have to report and you have to be willing to go to whatever team drafts you. I mean, it's an honor to be drafted. I had Ace Bailey going at 4. He ended up going at 5, so I was one off as well with my pick. And then with Knipple, I understand why he's going to the Hornets. I think he'll be a good addition as a shooter, but I'm still wary about their fit. And then with Ace Bailey to the Jazz, they have a lot of guys that don't pass the ball. Lauri Markkanen, Ace Bailey. There's some other guys they take in the draft that also don't pass the ball at all. But and they're also considering trading Sexton, so I'll leave Keontae George and Isaiah Collier to be like their main ball handlers. But we'll have to see how that works moving forward because I think Danny Ainge has a plan. He's always been a guy that I've taken as like he has a plan. He kind of did build that Celtics roster, even though he was not a part of them when they won the title. He built a large part of it. So I think he has a plan for the Jazz and how they're going to build for the future.
Absolutely. And Danny Ainge really does a great job just accumulating picks and, of course, drafting players and works out with them. And I also do think Brad Stevens, while Danny Ainge deserves credit for the Celtics, I believe Brad Stevens deserves credit for building them and just getting them over the hump, even though most of that roster, like you said, was built by Danny Ainge. So curious to see how this Jazz team progresses, but we'll have to see, of course, with how Ace Bailey plays a part in that. Now, how do you feel about the Wizards selecting Trey Johnson?
I don't know yet. They need scoring, so I do think that this is important for them to get him. But I still have concerns regarding whether or not they're going to be able to have enough ball handlers on the court at one time. Because I do like to have more than just Bub Carrington, but we'll see how that ends up working out. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. In regards to Trey Johnson as a player, I think he's a good player. So I understand taking him, but I don't necessarily love his fit. Just yet, we'll have to see. But I did have him going to the Wizards at 6, so I got that pick fully correct.
And then, did you have Jeremiah Fears going to the Pelicans as well?
No, I had Jeremiah Fears going to the Jazz at 5. So I thought he was going to be the one taken at 5, and I had Con Knipple falling all the way to 8. But Jeremiah Fears is a great player. This is a great pick. The Pelicans are already having injury problems with their backcourt as DeJounte Murray tore his Achilles last year. So this is an important add, and they're going to have now Jordan Poole and Jeremiah Fears in their backcourt to start the season.
Yeah, and they just traded CJ McCollum as well. So I'm. It helps that they went guard. I thought they were going to go center. And then with Brooklyn at 8, they go guard as well, Igor Demon. And I don't know. I had him later in the draft. Did you have him as this high in the draft?
I had him at 9, so
Oh, okay.
yeah, I did. I thought he was going to go top 10. I at least thought he was going to go lottery. I will say, which he did. I do have concerns because he's not a really great scorer, but he's a good passer. He's big and he struggles on defense, but he can definitely improve defensively. It's an interesting pick. The Nets are really going with all their picks as they're taking flyers on guys, and I understand that if you have 5 picks, taking flyers on some, but we'll see how it ends up working out.
Yeah, you at least want to get some hits and like maybe you can take some upside. But yeah, we'll just have to see what really happens. Now we go to Colin Murray Boyles at the Raptors at 9.
Yeah, I had him going at 16, so this is pretty high compared to where I had him going. But I'm not. I'm 50-50 on it. I like the pick, but again, how he fits in the immediate future, like how much are the Raptors going to want to contend, right? That's really what we're going to have to see. But besides that, I think he's a good player, so I don't hate the pick.
Yeah, and this one is also intriguing because as we are recording, Massage, Yurji is no longer the Raptors GM. They let him go, which I can understand not wanting him to be the GM. However, can't really fire him just before the draft, but you let him make a pick. Now you're firing him. So that just creates a whole new thing of what did they really just not like this pick, or were there other things? Because now because it is, you talked about contending now. So I think the Raptors have an unknown direction right now, especially under a new regime that is still to be decided.
Yeah, I think there's probably some disagreements between the Raptors front office and the owner and Masai Ujiri. We'll see how that all plays out, but I do think it's weird after the draft. But there must have been a big disagreement about how the team should move forward into free agency. Maybe one of them wanted to contend, the other one didn't. We'll see what direction they decide to go as the offseason progresses.
Yeah, now we get to 10, where I believe we both had a center, except I had Kaman Mulach off the board because I had him going to the Pelicans. This pick goes to Phoenix, even though it shows the Rockets logo, and Kaman put the Rockets hat on at the draft. But this is what Phoenix need. Phoenix needs centers.
Yeah, I had Mulach already off the board. I had Derek Queen being taken here, but then they needed a center, but they also traded for Mark Williams. So, right? Didn't they trade for Mark Williams during the draft?
Yeah, I think I read something about Mark Williams, but
yeah. So this is
Wikipedia. Oh yeah, no, he's currently on the Phoenix Suns. So yeah,
yeah. So that's what makes me question this pick a little bit. But outside of that, I do think it's a good pick because Mulach has a lot of potential. But we'll have to see how.
I don't.
What were you say?
Or yeah, we'll have to see what happens. I don't think the Suns center was a big problem, so I don't.
True, but they also traded for Nick Richards. Now they have Mark Williams and Nick Richards, who were both good last year. And then you add rookie center. I just think now we're kind of reaching the point where you may have too many, right? Like, because is playing 3 centers really possible? Because Nick Richards was good last year, and then you trade for Mark Williams, who's better than Nick Richards. But I just don't know how they're going to be able to use all 3 effectively. Maybe you can play 2 together. Mm-hmm. We'll see. But they're not really able to shoot all that effectively. So we'll see how it ends up working out.
Yeah, I can see them taking their time with Kaman and just letting them develop while they can try to be good this year with Nick Richards and Mark Williams.
My problem with that strategy, though, yeah. I guess it makes sense, but all of the other guys are young, right? Like Mark Williams is 23. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like...
Yeah.
I just have some...
Because you can have 2 established centers. I think that's, well, I don't know if they should be a good example because the Mavs, of course you have AD, but
And Nick
Gafford,
Richards is only 27, and he was good last year. He averaged he averaged 9 and 8 last year, shooting around 60% from the field. And he played some big time minutes for the Suns, and even off the bench for Charlotte, he was really good last year as well. So I don't know. We'll have to see how this works out.
Yeah, so now we go to 11, which I believe this was a trade. Cedric Coward goes to Memphis, and he was selected by the Trailblazers. I'm not sure what Memphis gave up.
Yeah, I didn't see, but Cedric Coward is someone that's very good. I had him going at 14 to the Spurs, but I understand why he went this high.
Yeah, I can understand with Memphis. He seems to have a lot of length, and they're a team that I think they're changing their idea. So as long as you get some really good players that can develop, that'd be really helpful for them. Now we go to the Bulls going Noah. Did you have him? I know you had him this high. The
Noah
Bulls
Essengate?
selection? Yeah.
I had him going at 11, but he went at 12.
Gotcha. Okay. That the Bulls, I think, are taking flyers because last year they took Busakelis, and Essengate to me seems like a flyer. But we'll have to see what happens.
Yeah, Matas was good last year. Buzelis, he was good last year, but he still has to grow as a player. So, and I think that's true. The Bulls know that their timeline to actually be a contender is pretty long, so they're taking guys that they are going to build into better players.
Now we go to where the Pelicans did trade with the Hawks, and they got Derek Queen a center, which is kind of a thing. You and I both had them going center. And yeah, I think center is a need for them. Someone to pair next to Zion and fill in. Because currently, I think Valanciunas is still.
Valanciunas was with the Wizards last year.
Oh yeah, you're right. And who played center for the Pelicans?
It was the young dude.
I think I found it. I googled it. I don't know if you want to.
I had him on my fantasy basketball team a couple times. Young dude center.
I think he
got
was
a lot of blocks.
Draft pick.
Yeah, I know he was. Yeah.
Okay.
You can just tell me.
Missy.
Yeah. I had Missy on my. Yep.
But yeah, so center is a priority for the Pelicans, so they get that with Derek Queen. We'll have to see how it plays out. Now we go to 14 with the Spurs. This must be from the DeJounte Murray trade.
Yeah, I think it was, but I do like this pick. Carter Bryant's a good player out of Arizona, and I think he'll help them build for the future as well.
Then we go to 15, where the Thunder just load up on center again. They select Thomas Sorber.
Yeah, this is a good pick. I thought they were going to go center, so they went center. I just had them take a different guy, but I do like this pick. Sorber's a good guy. He's just a little bit raw. He was good on Georgetown, though.
Yeah, I had them going Danny Wolf, and we have 3 straight centers starting with this Thunder pick. I don't know if we had Yang Hessen. He's traded to Portland.
Yeah, we didn't have him. I thought he was going to go probably early second round, maybe mid second round, maybe late first at the most, but he gets taken a lot higher than I thought. And if you really like a guy, I think the NBA draft is definitely one that you can reach on a guy, especially around where he was taken, because you need to like who you're taking.
Yeah, especially for Portland too. They're kind of in that develop. So just letting guys grow and learn through just playing is good. And if you think a guy, hey, he has a lot of intangibles, let's see what happens. That makes sense. Then we have the Timberwolves going center as well. Joan Behringer. I don't think I had him. Yeah, I didn't have him in my first round.
Joan Behringer?
Yeah, no,
I had him going at 15.
Okay.
Yeah, so I had him going around this range.
Okay. And then we go back to the Wizards, except Walter Clayton is traded to Utah.
Yeah, I had Clayton going at 26 to the Nets. Clayton's a great player. And again, this is where they get their point guard, Utah, a guy that can actually pass. Their point guard situation is going to be interesting. And I think they're going to be another rebuilding team next year, but I'm excited for what they're building.
Yeah, I believe them investing a lot of young guards is really helpful because I feel like they're good in the front court. It's just the back court. They need some help. Now we go to Brooklyn, another team that needs guards, selecting Nolan Traore, who I don't believe I had in my first round as well.
I had him
So
going
more
at 24. He's a good pick. I like him. It's just going to be, again, he's a little bit of a work in progress. We'll have to see. I don't think he makes an immediate impact, but I think in the long run he could be extremely. He's just raw. He's just a raw talent, and if you get that raw talent to become something good, you can kind of mold him into whoever you want to be. But raw talent is also scary, right? Because you don't necessarily know if they're going to be very good or not.
Especially if you're a team in the Nets position where you want to hit on picks so you can get better. If this is like the Thunder selecting it, it makes sense because, like, okay, if it hits, this becomes even better.
Yeah, because I had him going to the Thunder. Yeah, so
Yeah.
Yep.
So now we have the Heat at 20 selecting going guard, which is what they need. Kasparis Sionis.
Yeah, I did not have him on the board still. I had him going at 17, but this is a good pick. They needed a guard. I had them going guard as well, but just they need a guard. They've been very I mean, they traded a good bit of guards already. The Heat had Terry Rozier last year. That wasn't all that great. They need a guard, so this is a good pick.
Yeah, and so now we go to the Wizards, and they select an Illinois guard, Will Riley, 6'8", which that seems like some great length for because Wizards just want to hit on some picks.
Yeah, I had Will Riley going at 20, so that's where I had the Heat picking. But him going here, I like it for the Wizards. This is a good pick.
Now we go to 22, Drake Powell going to Brooklyn. So another guard again for Brooklyn.
Yes, and this is somebody that I predicted perfectly. Which I'm pretty happy about. I didn't think. Usually try to get at least one in the 20s, and I've been very fortunate. I also got the. I mean, this isn't as good as Jackson Dart because the Jackson Dart one I had at the right pick in the trade. Right, him getting traded to the Giants at 25 and the Giants taking him at 25. I thought that was one of the craziest predictions I've ever had. But Drake Powell at 22 is a good prediction. And again, I think they were just going to take flyers this draft, and this pick kind of proves it. It's another flyer. Now, he is a little bit more. Again, these guys are taking flyers on have a high upside, but they also have very low floor, so they make them risky selections.
Now we go to the Atlanta getting Asanua, the forward from Georgia.
Yeah, I had him going to Atlanta, but I had him going at 13. So they liked him, but they thought they could get him later, and they did. So it's a good pick.
And now Sacramento's moves are pretty confusing, I would say, past few years. Because they go all in, and then they trade up for Nick Clifford.
Yeah, Nick Clifford's really good. This is one of my favorite players in the draft.
Okay.
He's extremely talented out of Colorado State. He can do a lot. He can score. He can pass. He can rebound. I think he's extremely underrated, and I'm excited to see how he performs. I love this pick. I think Nick Clifford could have gone in the lottery, and I would have been totally fine with it.
Okay. All right. Now we have Orlando getting back in the first round and selecting Jace Richardson, another guard, which helps because they did trade away a guard. And their guards have been, I would say, underwhelming or just offensively because they've been a great defensive team.
Yeah, I think this is a good pick for shooting and for distributing. They also continue building their Michiganders, which is the plural Michigan, or people from Michigan are called Michiganders, apparently, according to my friends that are from Michigan. But they have a lot of guys from Michigan, like the university, Franz Wagner, Mo Wagner, what is his name? What's his name? They have another guy on their bench, and they also have now Jace Richardson out of Michigan State. I'm trying to think who else is on their bench. They have another guy that doesn't really play all that much. Let me look it up really quick.
Is it Go?
No. It's a guard.
Oh, okay. Jeff Howard?
Jet Howard, yeah, and Caleb
There you
Houston.
go.
That's the other guy. Yeah, I knew they had 4. Yeah, so they have Mo Wagner, Franz Wagner. This past year they had Gary Harris. I think his contract ran out though. Let me check that.
He might have been.
Yeah, his contract ran out. But Gary Harris was with Michigan State, so now they replaced one of their Michigan State guys that has gone with another Michigan State guy. They like guys from Michigan though.
Yeah, that is a good point. I didn't think about that. And then we can do this kind of Brooklyn 2 Flyers. I'm surprised they kept both these picks.
Yeah, I thought they were going to trade at least one of them, but I mean, if you're trying to build a team for the future, I understand it. And Danny Wolf's someone I had it going at 25, so that's one of the 2 picks, and so I like it.
Yeah, I like Danny Wolf as well. I list him here as a forward, but center just kind of adding to that size of what Brooklyn has. Guards, they do need guards, but we'll just have to see. So those are those 2 picks. Now we go to 28 with the Celtics going Hugo Gonzalez. And he's someone that I think is raw, but that's kind of what the Celtics need. If they can hit on this pick, that'd be really helpful for their future.
Yeah, I had Hugo Gonzalez going to the Suns at 29, but again, it's a pick for the future, not a pick for right now.
Now we have Liam McNeely going to Charlotte in a trade with the Suns.
Yeah, I had him going significantly higher than this, but I understand why he went this low. The Suns do need kind of what he offers. He's a good shooter, and he can build into a better ball handler and just pure scorer. He still needs some help defensively, though, so that's what the Suns are hoping to provide him with.
Now we go to 30, where I believe we both had the Clippers, or I had them going Idio Tierro, the wing, but did you have the Clippers going center?
I did with Thomas Sorber, but he was already obviously off the board.
Yeah, but so my point is we did not have Yannick Conan. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that name. So we'll have to see what the Clippers do, because it does seem like they're a team that wants to be competitive now, but this pick seems to be like a developmental pick.
Yeah, I agree.
So that concludes our review of the first round of the NBA draft. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. We appreciate you listening to Outsiders Opinions.